What's up, VC? I was just out in the rain. If you can't tell, we'll be all right. And I guess double segue. Layers. Two things that one pertain to the rain. This 20th Century View, side one, track one, Quiet Before the Storm. Here in South Carolina, it's raining now, but it's supposed to be pouring down later. So that's very appropriate. And also, this was a gift from my friend Dan, Dots and Loops. I try to save all my VCLT note cards. So that's the spin in the background. Let me turn it up and try to have a fine balance of talking over it without competing over it. And you clicked on this shit, you know what it is. My friend Dylan at Noble Records, he's got a contest going on right now. He has 7,000 plus subscribers, ever growing by the minute. My man constantly finds epic hauls, right?
Get it.
Good dude, family guy. I appreciate that. He's from the South, you know, like myself, northern born, southern raised here. I've been in the Carolinas for goddamn 20 plus years, right?
That's wild.
And so one thing Dylan's doing is that he's got a guy on the couch. I thought that was a novel idea, so I was like, hey, let me bring a friend on the couch. Everyone, this is my friend Dustin. Introducing my friend Dustin here.
How we all doing?
He's a lovely gentleman of multi-ethnic variety, you know, so awesome. You're Persian?
Dilla.
Yeah, you're Mexican?
Dilla.
You're Italian? Hebrew? Hebrew?
I don't know about
Scandinavian?
that. I don't think so.
Klingon?
Who knows?
Yeah, more likely.
It's up in the air.
Alright, so he's a beautiful gentleman, so we're gonna hang out. Alright. So the drink tonight is keeping it trashy and classy at once. Trashy with some Yinglings, the bare basics. And having a little nip as well. The nip is, sir, you have bottled.
Oh, sir. That's that Hudson baby bourbon right there. Give him a closer look.
Hudson Baby Bourbon Whiskey. This is from New York City. Not quite. This is from Tut Hill Town Spirits, Gardner, New York. So rock on. That is the drink we're drinking. It's pretty tasty. I'm not mad at it. So cool beans on that. Let's get we're just hanging out. So this one goes. I've been doing pretty well recently. Finding that 12 to 16 minute sweet spot. So if this is a long hangout, the world won't end. It's only 7 questions. I don't know how long we can actually go, right? But I'll probably ask your input because your opinion matters. I value you. So shout out, rigmarole, drinks, what have you. Probably lost people by a minute. People are just shooting past us, right? So let's get after it.
Yeah.
Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Let's get it.
All right, get after it. All right. I guess by the way, Dylan, if you don't know, one of these days we might make a voyage up to Charlotte. I might be doing that this weekend with Veronica. It's a coin flip right now, right? She has a brand new niece to this world, and so family first. But I've been trying to get to Charlotte, and he's got a couple goodies, including a blaxploitation grail of mine. I really like to score with a multitude of other things, Ramones and what have you.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there. I just happened to see this out of the corner of my eye, and these are definitely this is the type of stuff Dylan likes right here. This Amandul 2, more Amandul 2. This is some can peel sessions, you know, all sorts of stuff. This is a bunch of more, was this the Dire Wolves? More contemporary, psychedelic, but I guess the one I had out that is a recommendation if you haven't seen it or spun it yet. I don't know, my man found a Jerusalem album for like pennies, but which is dope. But maybe one day he'll just land an original because he's crafty like this. But this Irish coffee, this is obviously a repress. I really dig this kind of. Not going to get into it because we got real questions to answer. But Dylan, a recommendation from me to you and anyone else in the VC, if you kind of like that hard and heavy meets prog psychedelic realm of music, this kind of falls into that spectrum, and I think it's all sorts of rad. So a recommendation for me, Irish coffee, self-titled. I want to say this is like circa 72. Anyways, This is in the high triple digits to 4 digits if you find an OG. And I'm all about that repress life. Alright? Speaking of represses and things that kind of in that realm, question number 1's best finds. Segue. I should be on the S-Spin or, have my own late night show. Did you see how smooth that was?
Yeah, that was.
The only way it wasn't
right into it.
The only way it wasn't smooth is how I just started preaching on myself about how smooth that was, which immediately just all over it, right? But now there's so many things that are on are repressed, and you can just kind of you take it for granted because you're just like, oh man, if I find an OG then cool, but if not, I'll just do that repress life. And before there's the thrill of the hunt, where I like to discover things in the wild. I do 90% of my shopping in the wild, mostly with regular stores. But I don't know, this would have been late part of 2018. I walk into Pharmacy Records.
Okay.
You've been there, Frank.
Familiar with the place.
So Pharmacy's rad. I grabbed the Silver Apples. This is the OG. It's got a punch on it, not in the world. All this old school chrome. I talked about this recently, I think, in my vinyl tag. I showed the Head album by Monkeys. All this old chrome stuff, is usually all sorts of fade and beat to death. This still has life on it. Has a little bit of split, and this has since been repressed. So now I don't know if the OG is as important. But for best finds, I just walked in the store, saw this on the wall.
Hey.
Was not expecting that. Super happy and stoked. Frank, who's a friend of mine, good dude, knows I appreciate it, and I dug it. I was buying a stack. Cut me a deal. He's that type of guy. Right on.
Frank's a good guy.
Frank's a damn good dude. Great store. Small shop. A lot of turnover. So you find heaters, and the very next day, it's all cleared out, and then there's constantly a new wave of heaters coming through there, and they seem to disappear as quickly as they come. And then so I got that. It'd been on the wall for one day. And I showed up 2 weeks later, I was just catching up with Frank, saying hello. Got off work early on a Saturday or whatever the story was. And I walk in there, and what is he putting on the wall as I walk in? Just a follow-up. This, by the way, this psychedelic meets electronic. The weird synthesizer was called the Simeon. 2 artists. It was a duo, if you can't tell by these gentlemen. Look like they're in a kind of intergalactic cockpit. And then this kind of post-apocalyptic electronic, psychedelic, experimental electronic noise nonsense. I dig it though. On old Cap Records. And I found this on the wall 2 weeks later from the same guy trading things in. And so these are finds that you don't stumble into all day. And I guess I kind of answered the question. In Vinyl Tag, kind of answered best finds. I found the dopest stuff I found was in 2019, so I figured I'd go back in time and show those. I probably talked about them once upon a time ago, right? So, next question, I'm just going to pass the ball to you and push you on the spot here, because question number 2 is best song ever written. And
what? That is so up in the air.
It's very up in the air.
It's different for everybody.
And even if you're an eclectic individual, it might change day to day.
Yeah, honestly, that's a contextual, question.
But your back's against the wall, man.
I mean, geez, if I'm going to have to go with it, I'm going to have to go with, an old school, nobody's going to really know it. I'm a big Avenged Sevenfold fan. I Won't See You Tonight, Part 1, not 2. 2's a little too harsh for me. Part 1, it's got a lot of piano work, it's got a lot of really beautiful guitar work and stuff. Lyrically it's beautiful, but honestly it's instrumentation that really makes it stand
Avenged
out.
Sevenfold.
Yeah.
Right on, off the top of your head, I respect it. All right. So what I'm going to go with right here, and this is I hate that I'm going to turn this down right as this gets in there's a little bit of bluesy part to this. This is really dope album. Once again, for everyone to just fast forward because they want to get down to the nitty gritty, this is 20th Century Zoo. Dope.
Loving it.
On Vault Records. You can't see the label because it's spinning as we speak. I kind of went sentimental here because there's so many songs. Beth at B-Side Records actually, she chose Ben E. King's Stand By Me. When I was a little kid, I loved that movie. I watched it with my family. And I was so young, I thought the lyrics were Spin Bobby. So I used to spin in the living room, and I thought the lyrics were Spin Bobby as a little kid. A stupid little thing. That's actual factual about me. So I guess when I think of best song ever written, a lot of classical music is timeless. And it's been reperformed in, symphonies and orchestras around the world. infinitely, and they will be hundreds of years, And you like to think, you wonder what Beatles or Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd's going to survive that people are listening to in 100 and 200 years, or are people going to be listening to Nirvana and Stone Temple Pilots in 80 years? You don't know. Time will tell. But classical music, I'm going to forget this one because we've had a little nip or two.
Yeah.
All right, so forgive us. We're catching up. We haven't hung out in a while. But one that came to me when I thought about best song ever written, I think about my favorite song, and I'm going to forget this. I'm going to rely on the VC to hopefully know the answer. This was my grandmother's music box. And so when I think of best song ever, I think of my favorite song or best song ever written. This right here, this version on this box. Maybe not in, and I left the dust on it and everything. F it, we're just hanging out. When I think about this, like if I'm having a bad day, if I hear this soothes me. This very version of this song right here.
Oh, the windmill.
So it's a wind up. So right here. And I can imagine the ballerina. I can see the play in my mind. And I cannot recall right now what this is. I'm hoping that a Christopher Kibler or a Julius Jabbar or maybe a Motorik 247 or another individual is going to be able to place this. And
that is familiar.
And I know what it is, but we're hanging out, so I forgot it. But that right there would be the best song ever written, because when I hear that out of that little music box, if I'm having a rough or stressful day, or maybe I'm nostalgic or longing for the love of my deceased father or reminiscing of my grandmother or whatever, I could play that, and it puts me in the right state of mind forever. And I guess I just turned into a sad sap, a nostalgic individual. But I just did that. Yeah, so whatever. That would be my best song ever written. For me, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's get back into the music that's in the background. Question number 3 is, how do you keep track of your records? And I guess now I've broken the 1,000 record threshold.
Right.
I don't know. I'm probably encroaching upon 1,500.
So you broke it by a decent amount.
Yeah.
It's not like, I just barely broke it into 1,500.
Just popped in my head. This is terrible. Chromed out 1,100. What they talking about? So a little cash money's in my brain out of nowhere. Yeah, I'm random with it. So until I've never. What I was getting at is I need to get on Discogs. I need to make a proper list at some point. To this date, I've never left anything, but I just use my noodle. I've never left behind anything and got home and be like, shit, I don't own that. I don't want to buy a double. I've never, said, oh shit, to anything. I've never bought a double. I've never left something behind and they got home and realized I don't own the record and it was a gap or a blank in a collection of artists.
Right.
So right now I'm just using my noodle and it's been working out with me so far, and then I'm also pretty good about remembering the condition, and I've bought several upgrades. I guess the closest thing I've ever come to is I bought a Nazareth album, which isn't that grandiose. They're perpetually, depending on where you are in the condition, they're $3 to $9 records at most. But I want to say at one point I thought I was buying an upgrade, and it was I forgot the copy I had was also in amazing condition. So I guess that's the closest double I ever bought because I thought I was buying an upgrade. And that'd be about it. I failed, and it was just not so.
It's pretty good for working just off your noodle.
Yeah, just off the noodle.
Yeah, that's
so
pretty good.
And I got with art, I have a fairly photographic memory. So even if I'm forgetting like years and dates, things of that nature, or the name of the album, like say with King Gizzard, I want to say I have like 2 albums in the in the gap. I know they just released 3 records for charity relief for all these terrible fires in Australia. So they're releasing a series of 3 live records that are going to go to relief, right? And I don't have those yet, but they're 15 LPs and they're 2 EPs. Out of 17, I want to say I have 14 of them. Okay. And I place in my mind the album's covers are so distinctive, I know which ones I even if I couldn't recall right offhand, if I Googled and looked at album covers, I'd know which ones are the Gap.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, so that's
I couldn't do that.
Yeah, but then so I'm also weird too, because like my dad, I'm a car guy, and my dad would be the type of we're rambling, so we're just hanging out here. This is turning into a hangout, so fuck it if anyone wants to leave.
Saw it coming.
But so yeah, it happens. So my dad would be the type of guy, like when we're talking about cars, even though he was there for it, my dad would consult me, be like, "Hey Eric, what year is that car?" And I remember because automobiles are a piece of artwork. I'd be like, "Oh, well that Chevelle is a 70 because they changed the body style in 70 and they ran from 70 to 72, but 70 was the 1 year of the quad headlights."
Right.
And my dad would forget that, but my dad would also be like, "Oh yeah, and this year they dropped the 396 and they went to a 402, and he was more mechanically. And he was like, oh, this is the last year you can get a 327, and then the Z28 went from a 302 to a 350, or then a Ford." He'd be like, "This is the 1 year you can get this engine option with," and so on and so forth. Whereas I would remember like, well, this Mercury, they changed the slant back in this year, and so on and so forth.
Right.
So that's the way my brain works. But at some point, I'm going to need to get onto Discogs just for insurance sake. I already talked to my insurance agent, and starting to put together some gems, and I'd like to think if something happened to me that they're covered, right on.
Damn right.
So, question number 4. 16 minutes in, we've answered 3 questions. Fucking killing it, dude. Yeah, cheers again, man. Yeah, once again, VC, thanks for hanging out with my buddy Dustin, newly in the chair.
Newly.
Mm-hmm. Rock on. I think this is a really awesome idea. Just hanging out with a buddy in a chair. I think that's good.
It's fresh.
It's fresh.
That's what it is.
It's dope.
Fresh.
It's dope. It's rad. I'm a fan of rad. I never stop saying rad.
Really?
Never stop saying rad.
Well,
one thing that kind of...
Is it lit? Is that what
I don't say lit. You know what I used to say in high school, though? I'm about to be 37. I need to bring back, when I was going to high school in North Carolina in the late 90s, early 2000s, crucial.
Ooh,
yeah.
we should bring back
Man, that's crucial.
I
think it replaced crucial. Epic.
Epic
was everything.
Yeah.
Epic. I think Epic might have like supplanted Crucial, and I'm bringing back.
I can see that.
2020 is the year of Crucial. That's what it is.
Crucial back.
So here's a Crucial transition. One album you'll never sell. I'll sell any fucking one of these, right?
Yeah.
If I got a record that I bought for 80 that's worth 120, I'm selling that shit for 120.
Oh, damn.
I'm not in the habit of selling. I've done a little bit of flipping and finagling when I have an upgrade copy and I just want to get rid of it. Now that I'm in the VC, things are going to end up as gifts. Like I already said in my vinyl tag, I have an Ancient Greece I need to send to a buddy of mine. His name's Sean Snow up in Canada. But so I found an OG white label, like promo press on Mercury, and then I have a repress I need to send him with some other stuff. I need to go to the store, the post office in the near future. But outside of that, everything I can replace. Even stuff that was my dad's, I've upgraded. I gave my sister, and a bunch of like Led Zeppelin, Boston, Van Halen. They're very sentimental to me, and I still have them. I don't ever see myself selling them, even though they're not expensive. But the one record I would never get rid of ever is one silly thing. It's not silly to me. My father's father passed away before I was ever born. He was a pastor in Green Bay, Wisconsin, before moving to various other places. He was also a military chaplain.
Okay. Yeah.
But so this is his last sermon in when the weather was really terrible and people couldn't make it to church in the Midwest. They broadcast the sermons over the radio. This is my grandfather's last sermon at a church in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
That's cool.
It says sermon by the Reverend Robert Weinbender, and it looks like second recording Green Bay, Wisconsin. And then it's kind of muffled. There's a little bit of water damage on the jacket, although the record plays fine. This is a 78. But this is a tie to family, and I don't think anyone would really want to pay for it anyways or possess this other than me. So this is the one record I would never sell. And
that's really cool.
I think it's pretty cool. It's a tie to my family. And then all these other things, this is literally a box of punk rock, prog, heavy metal, psychedelic, pop, jazz, funk,
it's
everything.
All over the place.
Like I'm very eclectic, but it can all be replaced.
Yeah.
Anyways, catch you on the B-side. Back in a second. All right, back to the B-side. Once again, 20th Century Zoo, Side 2, Track 1. You Don't Remember. Cheers again. It's a tasty bourbon. Oh, I guess I got these out of order because, I'm slick with it, right? I'm going to go a different direction here. Favorite music documentary. So it's a record or a music documentary, right?
Okay.
So, all right. This is two different things, right? This is the Suicide Girls. And a lot of people might scoff at this because it's just an excuse to look at titties, right? And I'd love to give people an excuse to look at titties. This is the first tour, and this is their Italian villa. All right, a lot of lovely bodacious babes in here that are scantily clad. But what I really like about this, the documentary is about their life and their tour. I saw them on this tour, and it was all sorts of crazy shenanigans. I did get some wild ones when I was younger. I was a wild one. So I'm not going to judge those girls by all means. I've changed a good bit over the years, right? But these Suicide Girls are really dope. This is kind of like a lot of indie aggro. There's also some hip hop in there. Like the Mooney Suzuki is in here, and then a little bit softer side. I want to say Mike Dowdy is in this one. A bunch of really dope stuff. A music that, if you're not familiar with, that played throughout their photo shoot scenes are really cool. And this one has a lot of French and Italian indie music. There's one, Les Cannibals, if I'm not mistaken. I can't recall the track. Absolutely awesome song on this one. So this is a good way, if you don't know some deeper cut bands or you kind of stay in your little pocket, these two documentaries about their ladies, their life, their adventure, the history of the Suicide Girls, also directly tie into a lot of music I think is really rad. And it's not your cookie cutter thing that I think people might show in different ones, right? Because there's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm a nerd for documentaries, so I'm certainly not scoffing anything about how records are made or the history of Bob. I mean, I'm not the biggest Bob Dylan fan. I like Bob Dylan. I own some Bob Dylan, but I'm not like some diehard fan. But I'll watch a movie or a documentary about him.
That's what why.
Yeah. So. But yeah, that's just I don't know, a different spectrum, and I figure that would be the one I do. Next question. Favorite gift. All right.
Favorite gift.
So this is gonna be like a favorite vinyl gift, right?
Yeah, right.
I already know yours.
Yeah. I've got mine hanging up.
Yeah. So we went to, and I'm not gonna speak for you.
Okay.
I feel like a dick because I tend to do that sometimes.
So you're good.
But I'm not looking at the clock on this one.
So we went to an Iron Maiden show. Mm-hmm. My first ever Iron Maiden show. Really, really cool. Really interesting experience for a myriad of reasons.
Yes,
for sure. But he had bought me this without me realizing.
Right under his fucking nose.
Right under my fucking nose.
He was closer to me while I was checking out at the counter than he is now.
Had no idea at all. Actually gave it to me in the frame and everything.
Yeah. It was Killers, right?
Yeah, it's
Killers, right?
It's Killers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still hanging up. It's my favorite.
And it's not like the most expensive thing ever. One, you don't find a lot of old metal in the wild, and it wasn't like
this is true.
It wasn't the most amazing condition. The jacket was in better condition than the vinyl. Right. It's still play, but it's like it'd be something if you owned you'd want to upgrade. But just the fact that it can't, we were seeing Iron Maiden, we were shopping, Iron Maiden was randomly in a store, and I bought it right underneath your nose, and then you asked, what did you buy? And I still managed to flip and show you everything at the time and not show you, like, I hid it underneath another record.
It's clever.
And so it's pretty slick, so I didn't want to speak for you, but I kind of knew, as far as vinyl goes, what your favorite gift was, right?
Yeah.
And then, once again, vinyl tag, I don't want to keep on, beating to it, and I did... There's kind of an official vinyl tag and a secondary vinyl tag. I guess for my 1 year anniversary is coming up, I'm going to go and do the second vinyl tag. And on my 1 year anniversary of my first video, which was vinyl tag. That's neither here nor there. But in the official vinyl tag, Randall Weaver gave me 2 Mars Volta records, which just blew my mind. Okay. A lot of cool people sent me cool VCLT, including Dan's Dots and Loops, what's in the background right now. As well as Beth at B-Side Records and Gary's... Vinyl Dungeon and Dolphin Dale. I certainly don't want to leave anyone out because I feel like an absolute jerk. Jeff Kempin, Norman Maslov, Andre Linda Legg. A lot of awesome people in the VCLT have sent me gifts. The Happy Hippie Rod, Jam on Mono, who's got a contest, Jam on Vinyl, Jam on Mono, up in New York. A super good dude. Has a contest going on right now as well. Apologies if I left anyone out, because I love all you guys. You guys are beautiful. But I wanted to omit the VCLT for a second and do this. This is also crafty, right? So when Veronica and I shot up to Asheville to see King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, I'm not going to be the type of guy to like buy a couple records and then go to a show and then have to carry them and potentially damage them and then watch them, set them down, get a drink, go take a piss, whatever, right? So I told Veronica, I was like, dude, don't even sweat it. And I was like, I called my lady dude. I said, dude, Veronica, dude, don't sweat it. If I don't get a record, it'll be fine. She totally knew, like, I want those records, right? So it's tired. We want to go back to the hotel room. The night was a long day. Her phone was stolen. And we just want to go. And she's like, do you want to go look at the records? And so I already had a handful of King Gizzards at the time. But I was like, let me see. So I bought everything that I hadn't already had at that point. And so these would be the 3 that were all at the concert. I want to say that this is an alternate cover, if I'm not mistaken. This is one of the 2 EPs. I want to say that this one has the different color. This is the album my chick most identifies with because this has the most electronic qualities. And was the coolest part of the light show. When they tied in this, they did this in the background for the light show. And then this one is also dope. All these are on special colorways. I don't want to eat up too much time because this is a hangout, but no need to go 40, 50 minutes. We're probably going to break 30 here, though. But what was super cool, she was really crafty. I picked out the 3, and then I was ready to pay. And then I go to pay the gentleman, and the guy's like, no, what are you talking about? She snuck, and was like, hey, no, I got those. And so I was picking out the records, the ones I didn't already have, or versions of them, and then she bought them for me at the concert, which was really super sweet and awesome. I'm pretty lucky. My chick's dope.
It's adorable.
It's adorable. It's totes adorbs. Totes adorbs.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm saying that. It's oh, I totally got. Look at me. I got cigar ash on my belly here.
No, that's
that's adorbs. Yeah, we're if I get a little gravelly here at the end. We're drinking whiskey and smoking cigars tonight. So it might get a little gravelly, but especially if I talk like that on purpose. Like I say, just to hang out. Don't feel bad. We haven't even listened to one record yet. We only got one question yet. We're fucking killing it. But question 7 would be a listening ritual. And so I got a few. One, the phone. Shit, shower, shave. My listening room, you go through the kitchen, into my bedroom, into the bathroom. So usually sometimes vinyl doesn't work, especially if I cut my own hair. You know what I mean? This groomed beard right here, probably.
Right, this looking on point and everything.
This beard, right here.
That's
I know that some people would argue what the best beard in the vinyl community would be. They would just go for like bulk, unkept bulk, which I respect. I'm a chef. I used to have a very bulky beard. It's actually an Alaskan whaler. I didn't rock a mustache at the time. So some people would call it Amish. That's incorrect. The proper terminology in the beard community would be an Alaskan whaler.
I kind of like that better.
Factoids from Eric Weinberger, right? So this well-groomed beard, and this fade is self-made fade. Forgive the hair. I've been walking in the rain. But what am I getting at? I'm getting nowhere. I have no points here. Listening ritual, right? Some on my phone, podcast, music, whatever. I'm doing a free trial right now of Apple Music, and that's for the bathroom. And I have my boombox that fills up the whole house if I so choose it, and that's a lot of CDs and cassettes I listen to out of the boombox that's in my kitchen. I need to show that in the future via the request of Too Many 45s, who I guess that's the one person I probably omitted during the VCLT. He sent me this, and like I say, I tried to do my best to save the notes. This Agrolites is some California-based reggae. It's super dope. Super dope. Crucial.
2020. Crucial.
Yeah, but I never stopped saying dope either. It's dope.
Yeah, dope has never stopped.
Dope's never stopped, and it just makes me feel like this. It's such a plebeian word too. It's such a simple person word. It's dope. It's like anything. It's like same with like epic, 1-2 syllables, rad. Yeah, I guess I'm
Boss.
Yeah,
Boss
what's
was a thing for
Boss?
a little bit, yeah.
But that's like a greaser thing. Like the car guys
that's
I know, like, yeah,
Boss.
that's Boss. Like a lot of the guys that like listen to only like early Beach Boys, like Car, Surf and Drag, and like Jan and Dean. Those guys, that's their only Beach Boys. That's the guys that say Boss. The guys that like my dream car is 32 Ford type guys. So my listening ritual, and I guess you're kind of the same way. We were talking about this before we decided to like be two idiots in front of the camera. Is that the daytime is very much getting ready for work. Maybe if you're feeling a little bit rappy, maybe some rap. That's where heavy metal, hardcore for me usually come into play. A little bit more of the aggressive, and then as a chef, when the grind is over, that's usually when I lay. If I'm still energetic and I'm not stressed, that's usually when I get into like some of this like psych and prog and go for adventure. And then I usually fade and wind down to anything like I do enjoy classical music. I know I don't show much of it in the VC, but I don't have a massive collection, but I do have a fair bit of Bach and Beethoven and the cliches. But then also jazz and soul, are things I usually wind down. So it really fits the mood is what my listening ritual is. But I pretty much spin a record daily guaranteed, usually before and after work.
Yeah.
And then I guess in the Mach 1, I have a 6-disc changer. In the Marauder, I have XM radio. And then in the truck, I have my deck has a auxiliary cord. So I usually stream music in my F100. So depending on what car I'm in,
I'm always streaming music.
In
my car.
Yeah, I get that. But so, I guess we don't have nowhere to go from here, man. We're at like 31 minutes. I mean, I don't know what else there's to say, But I feel like we got time for one more shot because we haven't even listened to the whole record. So let's go and make this one record.
Let's do it.
And by the way, I totally spilled one drop of liquor on the ring of this and set it down, and now I have the ringware on my super high dollar end tables. I mean, these are imported zebra wood from Myanmar. It's not real. It's not a real thing. Are you from Myanmar?
No.
I don't want to offend you.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Is Myanmar, is that formerly Burma?
I don't know.
I think like
I don't know.
If someone fact check me if they want,
Please, somebody.
If I'm not mistaken, Myanmar has gone back and forth a few times between Burma and Myanmar, the name of the country. Which then you feel for in that situation. Fucking the poor tigers.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, oh man, like their whole life they're identifying was like, I'm a Burmese tiger, I'm really important, I'm in danger. It's like, no, they're not Myanmarese tigers.
Yeah, that's like.
And there's also Burmese python.
Yeah.
Do you think he has some kind of like, not like, I was gonna say gender identity crisis, but not like that. It's like, I don't know who it's like. It's not like a race crisis. It's like, where's my origin? What's my race? Who am I?
My people?
Who am I? What's my people? I don't even know. Like you feel bad for them, right?
Yeah, you put it that way. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. There's these weird transitions where things change. Now it doesn't matter. My buddy John Businger, for years, old timer, old head, good dude, was an LA Rams fan. They moved to St. Louis, and because of money, they moved again. They're back to LA. But for years, he really burnt about that. It really chafed him. All right. Good dude, just a southern curmudgeon, but still gentlemanly, if you can, if it makes sense. A southern gentleman, but kind of ornery. And went to UNC. Good dude, and he's always one of those guys like, I'm an alum. I went there. You guys don't have rights. It's like all these people that are like Clemson fans now because they're winning.
Yeah.
But they can just recycle.
Wagoners.
They could just either recycle stats from ESPN or. They can name all the players, but if you sit down and watch a game with them, they don't know the intricacies of a 3-4 defense, and they have no idea how a play is developing. They just see the pass, like, that's an amazing catch. She's like, do you not see what the fullback did that led to that catch?
Yeah.
Anyways, without going on that, for years it was hysterical when you'd ask him, hey man, John, what's your football team? He'd be like, the LA Rams. His dad was from LA. And so he'd say it with like such just like contempt and anger.
Yeah.
They asked him his team,
a little bit of ferocity.
Like they stole it from him. Like, I'm an LA Rams fan, and I haven't seen him in years since the Rams are back in LA now, and I just want to give him a high five and say like, go Rams, and just see the look on his face. But Yeah, like I say, we're just rambling to eat up people's time. I guess we'll call this one record. I don't feel bad for eating up people's time because it's just to hang out, and I've been pretty consistently at like the 15-minute mark lately, and so I feel like I'm allowed to hang out.
Cheat night. Yeah.
One of these days, I'll organically hit 1,000, and I'll still do my steady, normal videos, and then I'll have an occasional live stream hangout, and people just know. Hey, we're gonna be.
I'll be the longer one.
Yeah, we'll go.
I'll be the longer one.
Yeah, we're gonna go an hour and be idiots, and then just kind of decline into insulting each other.
Down into that.
Yeah,
always
I'm
down
into
for
that.
that.
VC, cheers to you. Thank you so much for a crucial good time.
Crucial.